Hello and welcome once more to the sideboard at the Dallas Open Series. I'm Glenn Jones, and I'm joined here by Garrett Lambert.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining me.
Nice to meet you.
You're playing Green-Black Ooze,
yes.
A deck that first kind of popped up at the LA Invitational last year.
Yeah.
And why'd you want to play Green-Black Ooze?
I saw a lot of success with Brian Kibler's version of it, which he originally championed it out for me. Like, I saw the deck and I was like, it's not the most expensive deck here because you got the decks with Sphinx's Revelations, you've got the decks with all the guild leaders and all that. So right now I'm thinking that like with all the trample that this deck gives off and all the Undying, those field nukes like Supreme Verdict, they actually don't do anything to the deck. I mean, they just turn null and void. And I like the some Dragon's Maze cards that go in it well because it just keeps beefing up my my Predators.
Yeah, the Dragon's Maze additions you have here seem pretty good. In the main deck, you've added Putrefy, pretty much an obvious card for a lot of people to add.
Yeah.
It's one of the more powerful removal spells we've seen in a while. And you have Varolz the Scar Strike.
Yeah. So Varolz is a 2/2 for 3, and you can sacrifice a creature to regenerate him.
Sure.
Which a lot of people try to kill him with something like a burn spell, and they don't realize that you can sacrifice him, so, I mean, they can make the mistake. But his best ability is the fact he gives everything in your graveyard scavenge. So, let's say you have an Ooze on the field, and you have a Strangleroot Geist that they have just killed off with some spell, or you sacrifice it to Varolz to keep him alive.
Sure.
Then you will tap the 2 green to be able to scavenge the Strangleroot Geist on your Predator Ooze, and then you can get through with a lot more damage a lot faster to keep up the tempo that some of those other high aggressive decks are pushing out right now.
Yeah, it seemed to me that Predator Ooze, could be obviously not beaten in combat, but it could be outraced because they have to tap it in order to grow it. So you kind of lose the ability to block. And Varolz, in addition to giving you that growing power, he also protects things from Pillar Flame, like Strangleroot Geist.
Yes.
As long as he's out there, there's not really much they can do.
Yeah. I mean, if they want to Pillar Flame something while Varolz is on the field, then I could sack him and not worry about it. Or with the Ulvenwald Tracker that's in my deck, in response to them trying to Pillar Flame me, I can just tap Ulvenwald Tracker and have it fight something and kill it that way.
Yeah, Ulvenwald Tracker also a nice combo with Varolz. Not only is Varolz just a regenerator, so obviously he fights pretty well.
Yeah.
But also the scavenge can let you grow anything up to a good fighting size.
Yeah, and then with the Pro Tour Avacyn deck, the Fight Club deck, that was championed there, I kind of like fell in love with Ulvenwald Tracker, and since then it's been in every one of my decks for the fact that he gets there and he just makes you just fight stuff. I like just killing creatures, keeping them off the field. I mean, Naya Blitz can't keep up with the fact that Ulvenwald Tracker plus Predators are swinging and they don't block it, they're done.
Yeah. Especially if you're on the play, it seems like you can really just take control of that matchup all the time if you're on the play.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Arbor Elf in my deck, which can tap to give you mana so you can turn to Predator Ooze, stuff like that, which I've been doing a lot today. But my favorite turn 1 play is to Ulvenwald Tracker, and then turn 2 something that else is sizable, like a Lotleth Troll. And usually they don't kill it, and even if they try to, I usually have a burn spell in my hand, or not a burn spell, a creature to be able to sack to him.
Sure.
To pump him up. So even if they try to Tragic Slip him in response, I can just pump him up and he's safe.
Yeah, he'll make it through okay.
Yeah, a lot of people like playing him as a 3-drop. 2-drop's fine with me.
I know that you moving over to your sideboard. You said you really liked Ulvenwald Tracker.
Yeah.
You've got another fight card in your sideboard, one that hasn't really seen a lot of play in Standard, but it seems like a pretty reasonable fit for the deck, especially once you add in the fact that you have Varolz, Mutant's Prey.
Yes, best card in my deck against anything that has a sizable creature base in the opponent's deck.
Sure.
Anything. Falkenrath Aristocrat it's good in. I have not found a deck today that I haven't sided in Mutant's Prey if they're using stuff like Restoration Angels and all that, just so I can kill it. Because, I mean, you have an Ooze on the field, you have an Ulvenwald Tracker, and you have a Mutant's Prey in your hand. So what you want to do is you want to attack something with the Predator Ooze using Ulvenwald Tracker to give it the +1/+1 counter after it kills the creature. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use Mutant's Prey to kill another creature once Predator Ooze is a 2/2. Then you get a +1/+1 counter from that, so it'll make him a 3/3. Then you swing in, giving him another counter, which makes him 4/4.
So against all these creature decks, it really seems like, you're just trying to get as many prey upons as you can, basically going.
Yeah.
Obviously, with all the +1/++ counters in your deck, between Ferals, Lotla Troll, Predators, the Mutant Spray is very close to just instant speed prey upon.
Yeah, and I don't like running prey upon in it as much because it's during my turn, and I always want to be killing my opponent's creatures on their turn, and that's why I have in Putrefy, which I've actually taken out Abrupt Decay. So there are 0 Abrupt Decays in my deck.
Putrefy does a lot of the same work, it's pretty efficient and effective, but the big thing is it kills a Restoration Angel.
It kills Resto Angel, it kills Craterhoof Behemoth. I had a dude that, a guy that 2 rounds ago, I was playing against Reanimator, which we can get to a couple Reanimator cards I have in here, probably. And he Craterhoof Behemoth out of his graveyard with, he had no other creatures on the field, so he had to Craterhoof Behemoth and try to kill me, or he would die next turn because of Predators. And I was at 4 life, and he was at 3, and I putrefied his Craterhoof Behemoth as soon as it hit the battlefield. So it did give the ability, but he had no other creatures.
Sure, of course.
So the next turn I just swung in and killed him, and that's how the story goes.
Yeah, Putrefy, very effective and efficient removal spell. You mentioned, you have another sideboard card here for Reanimator, Crypt Incursion.
Yes.
Haven't really seen that one either, and obviously, being able to get rid of all the creature cards is totally fine against Reanimator. We don't really even need to discuss it that much. But I'm curious, do you find yourself bringing this in against any of the aggressive decks just for that life gain?
Actually, yeah. What I do is I'll have Predators sitting on the board, and I'll be attacking with Predators, so they'll be chump blocking with their Mana Dorks, or they'll be getting some bigger threats on the field, just trying to block to get Predators damage not through, which Rancor gets around. But the thing about Crypt Incursion is, while I'm doing all those attacks, Predators is getting bigger, but he's also putting their creatures in their graveyard. So if they try to use an Unburial Rites or something, in response you can Crypt Incursion, wiping their entire graveyard and deeming that card useless. But another thing in the creature decks is that if they're attacking with Champion of the Parish and Boros Reckoner and all that, then I could Putrefy a Boros Reckoner, because I don't like that guy on my board.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if I have a 1,000 Predators attacking a Boros Reckoner, it's kind of bad
for you.
It's bad for me. And what I like to do is get rid of all their creatures on their board with my kill spells, and this has done it too. But then with like Mutant Spray, Ulvenwald Tracker, Predators attacking there, and then just Crypt Incursioning, so they can't get any cards back, and I can gain all that life, so I don't fall behind with my life.
And you've got things like Verol's and even Ulvenwald Tracker that can put your own creatures in your graveyard. You can Crypt Incursion yourself if you have to.
I've actually did that one time today. I had 3 Strangleroot Geist. I didn't have a Verol's on the field, but I had 3 Strangleroot Geist, and I think it was Blood Scrivener, and I had that on the graveyard, and he was attacking for lethal. He attacked for 1 over lethal, and I Crypt Incursioned myself to survive the hit, and took him out next turn.
That'll do it. Blood Scrivener, I'm kind of interested. You only have 1. It feels like this card might actually, have some legs in the deck. You're sideboarding a copy. How has it been so far when you've had it?
I only play Blood Scrivener. Like, it's a good card and all, but it's one of those cards that I will only play against a control deck. I mean, aggro decks, I've been seeing Siren Insanity, which if I have Blood Scrivener on the field, that just deems Siren Insanity useless pretty much, because I'll be drawing 2 cards every turn, and I'll be losing 1 life, but Crypt Incursion comes in handy there. If I can draw it off of Blood Scrivener and they have creatures in their yard from the sire themselves,
very likely
they get rid of their own creatures. So Blood Scrivener loses me a life, but I draw 2, so that gives me a better chance to play a threat, or a better chance to get another land drop if I need another land drop at the moment, because I'm only running 23 lands and not very many duels.
All right. Well, Garrett, I hear this is your last big tournament before you're shipping out.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining me and sharing the deck. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.